Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Bob the Builder. We're going to be doing pretty much what you see here. I have one or two things we're going to get a little bit cleaned up on this round. But basically what you'll be wanting and needing is some brown bands, blue bands, red and orange, yellow skin tone. For the eyes you can use black beads or black bands. And we'll be using the basic loom in the offset configuration with one or two hooks. Okay, I think that's all we need to start. We're going to do the first couple of pieces on the hook, beginning with the hands. So we'll get you to take, and I'm just going to say right here at the start, if you ever feel like you're looking to save bands, you can use 2 in place of 3 when I'm using 3, or if you feel like you want to do a double bands 2 together instead of a triangle band that's been doubled over, that's another option, but we're gonna get into it here. Okay, so for the hands we'll take 2 skin tone bands, wrap them twice in your hook. You can do it a little tighter if you want to. Take a single skin tone band, stretch, twist, double it over, slide that through. And what I did to get the bicolor checker effect is I did groups of 3, so 2 red and an orange, 2 orange and a red. If you want to keep it just at 1 orange, 1 red, you can, and we're going to do 5 sets. So I'm taking 3 bands, putting it on the end of the hook and sliding that first hand piece over and then replacing. So that would be 1. As I said, we're doing 5 in total. Okay, so I just slipped off there, hold on. Should have one more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so when you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections on the chain, you can put that onto 2 bands. I'm going to do 1 orange, 1 red. This is what we're going to use to attach it on the shoulder, to the shoulder. And we'll make 1 more of these exactly the same way. So 2 skin tone bands, wrap it on the hook twice. You can do an extra one if you feel like, if you want it a little bit snugger, or if your bands are stretched out a bit. Double a band over. This is a skin tone, slide it on. And one more time we're going to do 5 sets of 3 bands, or you can keep it at 2 bands if you don't want to use as many. That's 1. I keep grabbing my stretchy, like my really stretched out ones and then having to put them back. 2. Especially in my red bin here. Here's 3. 4. And 5. And then I'll do 1 orange, 1 red. At this point, if you want to get another hook, you can start working on another hook. I'm just going to slide mine down. Well, here, I'll get a different one so it's not blocking your view here. We're going to do the legs next, starting with the boots. Feel free to adjust if you want to use fewer bands, if you want to make it simpler, if you want to add a twist, whatever works for you, go for it. I'm taking 3 bands so I get that kind of rounded tip. Wrap it on the hook once and twice. I'm pulling that onto 2 brown bands. And before I replace it, I'm taking another 2 and wrapping them on the end. 1, 2, 3 times. If that's hard for you, you can put this back on, like put this back on, wrap it, and then slide it, that first piece over. Either way, this is what you want to be working towards. I'm using 2 bands now. I tried it with a doubled over single, which is what I sometimes like to do so that the shoe bends a little bit more, but it looked a bit wonky. So I'm just doing 2 singles and sliding it on. If you have another method you prefer, by all means do it. And there's 1 boot, 1 shoe. I'm going to switch to blue for the jeans. And initially I actually did 5 sets, which is one of the places I cheated. We want it to be a little bit shorter, so you can do 3 sets of 2 or you can do 4 sets. I'm going to start it with 3 and see how it goes. So that's 1 set, just 2 at a time, like 2 bands at a time. This is 2 and this is 3. You know what, I think that's going to be okay because we're going to have just 1 more one that attaches to the legs and we want it to be a little stubby. If you can't quite decide, jump ahead in the video and see if you like the result for the legs with the 3. And if you decide you'd like it a little longer, you can add 1 more. For the second boot, second leg, same thing. 2 bands wrapped 1, 2, 3 times, pulled onto 2. Before I replace it, I'm wrapping 2 more in the middle. 1, 2, 3 times. Put the other end back on, pull it onto 2 brown bands. And we're gonna go back to the blue. I'll do 3 sets again, 3 sets of 2. If you guys really like this one, let me know if you'd like me to try and do a Wendy one to go with Bob. I know the machines are always harder, but tell me what you think and we'll go from there. Okay, so we've got 2 arms, we've got 2 legs. I'm going to set those aside and we'll go to the loom now. We'll start at the top with our yellow. I'm laying them down 2 at a time. Top center to top right. Top center to top left. If you want to start in the middle, you can. Like if you want to come down the middle row first and then go out, it will be okay any which way you do it. In my original, I did do the middle one down first, so but it's up to you. It won't make a big difference, or it shouldn't. On each of the rows, I'm coming down with 2 sets of double bands, so that's twice on the right, twice in the middle, or 2 times down in the middle, and 2 times down in the side, the other side. From here we switch to our skin tone. 2 bands at a time we come down. Just checking my picture here, it's a little hard to see. 3 times in the middle. So starting at the 3rd peg down, we come down once, twice, and a 3rd time with 2 bands on each. This will take you to your 6th peg down in the middle. And on either side we'll come down 2 times. 2 times on each side with 2 bands each time. I'll also give you a heads up now. was a little bit lazy on this one. I put the ears on afterwards. They are not hard to attach, but because we do an extension to the face, I thought it would be easier than having them sitting underneath the extension if we put it on once the rest is in place. So that's what I did. That's what we'll do. We are now going to start working on the body. So I've got 2 sets of double red bands coming down in the center from the 6th peg to the 7th and the 7th peg to the 8th. I'm going to take 2 blue bands and come down from the center. Oh, sorry, I missed something here. I'm busy listening to myself speak. Just backtrack 1 minute. We're going to make sure that we have from the 5th side to the 6th center 2 skin tone bands. So our face has a way to connect it to the body. There we go. You were probably wondering what I was doing now. And then we can replace those middle ones, or if that's hard, like if you're having a hard time, just take it off and go back to that point. And then from the center 6th to the side 6th, 2 blue bands. Okay, on either side we're coming down twice with 2 red bands each time. So that's from that shoulder peg where we have a blue, which will be transitioning into our overalls. Okay, like so. And then we'll switch to blue. On each row we'll come down with 2 sets of double blue. And I'll give you another option here in just half a second. So the thing is, if you want his torso to be a little bit shorter, you could take off 1 row of the blue. And if you do that, you might want to take off 1 row of the red. So if you'd like to make this half as long, you have that option. It would make for a pretty short torso, but that's something you can play around with if you feel like you want less of the checkered shirt showing, or if you want the body in general to be a little bit shorter. You could take off this last set. And you could also take off one of these. You know what? I did these in red. I'm sorry, I'm a little sleepy today. You might want some orange in there too. If you want to add an orange or switch it up so that it's red and orange. I'm going to do another really fast backtrack on mine. You don't have to. You might want to. It's okay any which way. Just take 2 seconds here. Apologies again. I've been at this for a little while. Things start slipping when you don't take that break I should have taken. There, should match the rest of it just a little bit better now. Okay, pop on those blues. There. Okay. So I just switched up a couple of those reds for oranges to match it with the arms. I'm going to put the arms on now while I'm thinking about it. You can decide which way you want it to point so that it's facing the direction you want. So I'm making this so that it goes in. If I was to flip it around, it would be pointing kind of upwards. This one, we're getting all of the bands off the hook and onto the 6th peg down on the side. If you want it facing a different way, take it off, turn it around, and put it back on. Okay, let's keep going here. The next part is the belt. If you have 2 colors of brown or a different color of brown or a beige, you can switch it up here, but you don't have to. Just because this is the first thing. Actually, here, we'll use this one. This one you'll be able to see pretty well. Okay, so on either side I'm coming down once with double brown, and in the middle I'm going to take 2 brown, but I'm going to put another band on. So here's, and you can do 2 if you want it to be really showy. So here's a colored band. I'm going to wrap it relatively tightly 4 or 5 times and slide it onto my 2 bands. Now we are going to try to go back through those bands again later, so if you feel like it's too tight, you can loosen it up a little bit, but you don't want it super, super loose either. And then we come down to the bottom of the loom with double blue bands, and that means 2 more sets on each row. After this we have a couple of facial features to look at. The legs to add on, which we'll do in 2 seconds super fast. Some holding bands, a couple of extensions, and we are not too far from the time to loop. Grab 2 blue, put them on the hook that has the leg pieces and slide over. This is going to stretch across the bottom 2 pegs on your loom, like so. And in the space between the legs, take your hook and bring the elastic bands over the middle. This is going to secure it and also like cinch it in. For the holding bands, what I did and what I would recommend is using doubled over triangle bands. The reason is we're going to be adding a side part so that we can see this and get the overall effect, and also give him that little bit of roundness that he has. But what happens then is it can end up really loose and puffy, and the triangle bands in the middle being doubled over will tighten it up and give it a nice cleaner look. Okay, so you can decide which colors you want to use for the holding bands. I'm gonna kind of try and stay close to what I'm using. So maybe you have fewer brown bands, you might use blue here, and maybe you want it to show more brown, in which case you'd use brown. Or up here, if you want to have orange, you can use orange or red or blue. You just want to pick a color that's not gonna blatantly stand out. So take your single, double it over, and we're going to create a triangle across the second pegs from the bottom of the loom. And we'll do that again on the set above and continue that until you get up to the neck part, which is your 6th peg from the, like down from the top. For this, you might also want to look at which bands you have that are a little stretched out already and use those, because it will stretch out your bands. So if you have some that are already a little worn, it might be good for that. Of course, if you're worried about them snapping, you might want to pick fresher ones, but up to you. Let's do the rest of the body, because we have one more thing to do on the body, and then we'll work on the top part. We are making the side extension, as I said, and for that we need a single blue wrapped on the hook twice, and we're going to put that onto 2 sets of double blue. There's 1, there's 2, and then I actually ran out of the color I needed, but so that we have consistency across, we're going to do the next one in brown to match the belt. So whatever color you used for the main part of the belt, you'll do 1 set of double bands in that color, and then we need 4 more sets of double blue. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the bands that are on my hook are going to go on to, you can choose your side, the peg that is holding the arms that will go on top. As I said, this is going to make the effect of the overalls. And at the bottom of the chain, that first band we wrapped will create, I'm trying to show you this, a little circle there with 3 loops on it. You're going to get your hook into that, and there we go, and place that onto, from this direction, the bottommost peg on that side, twisting it as little as you need to. And so that this doesn't hang loose at the side, we need to just connect it a little bit. So you want to take one piece of each chain close to the loom and bring it over the peg. If you're grabbing it from the inside top, that's where you want to grab it the next time, where you're going to get some twisty things. But it's not the end of the world if it twists a little bit, or if it's not like the exact same piece, but try your best to get it from about the same part of the chain. And this goes onto every one of the pegs until you get up to the arm there. We're going to do one of these for the other side. I'll go a little faster. Glue wrapped twice onto 2 sets of 2. Onto 1 set of brown, so 2 bands together, and then we go back to blue for the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Place it on the other side the same way. We're going putting it on the arm, shoulder, over the arm, and stretch it down so that we're on the bottommost peg there. Doesn't look right. That's what I get for hurrying. Okay, slow and steady. Here we go. There we go. Alright, bring one piece out of each chain over your pegs. Each of those pegs coming down. I always feel like awkward doing this on the video because I'm used to sitting up and having this like on my lap or in front of me. But I'm in a basement right now and I didn't feel like carrying everything up to put it on a table and then carrying it all back down. And this is a short enough one. We can get through it in a funny way. Okay, our body is good to go. For the head, we are going to do the nose. Okay, our nose is going to, actually we could do this a little differently, but no, I think I'm going to keep it the way it was. Okay, our nose is a single wrapped 1, 2, 3 times on the hook. Pull it onto a doubled over single. That's going to make it into this nice little round ball. And then it will go onto another doubled over single. And this will stretch across the 4th pegs down on either side. So it's the peg that's sitting under the yellow. And I'm going to reach this. How did we do this? I think I did this like this. I have to do it and then I'll show you. Did I put this on the bottom? No, I did put this on the bottom. Okay. Honestly, this part's a little finicky. It is going to move about a little bit once it's on, so don't panic. Panic if it's sitting low or high now. The idea is just to keep it from shifting around side to side. You do want the center. So the band that it's on, the doubled over band, is going from the 4th peg down on one side to the 4th peg down on the other side. And the doubled over band holding that wrapped band is being separated and stretched around the 5th peg down in the center. If you're not sure what I mean or it's not working out quite right, it will be okay. Don't worry, we got this. If you want to put another doubled over holding band across the 5th pegs down, you can do that. I didn't. I think we're okay without it, but that's an option if you want it. Let's do our top band. I'm gonna double over my yellow That will go onto the second pegs down. If you'd like to do 2 bands together instead of a doubled over, you can, but because we're adding on another extension here, which will give it that roundness, I would suggest keeping it tight with a doubled over. And that leaves one more holding band to do. That's the one holding the, like, that's going to be for the eyes. So just to tell you, show you, I'll give you a couple of thoughts here. So I used these small beads, but you can, as you can see, it does sink into the face. Now Bob's eyes are very small and beady, so that's not the end of the world, but after I did this, I did try to work in a slightly larger bead. This one is maybe 3 millimeters across, and even like pressed right in, to me it looked really strange. So those are two things you can do, is a larger bead or a smaller bead. I'm thinking if you have something around 2 to 2.5 millimeters, that's maybe not super round, that might be your best bet. The other thing you can do, which is what I'm going to try this time, is wrapped black bands. So we'll do that here. You can see how that looks, and I'll just tell you quickly as well, if you want to put a bead on. I do this in a lot of my videos, but I'll show you again quickly because it doesn't take long, and it's a good strategy to have. If you have a bead with a large hole, put your hook through both of them, slide them both onto a doubled over single, you're set. If you have a bead with a smaller hole, you can use dental floss. Again, I'll try and be quick showing you this. Dental floss or thin, like needle and thread, or thin wire. If you slide both pieces on and then put it onto a doubled over single, like so. I put the dental floss or thread through, and then I come back over and back through. If the hole in the beads is not too small, and you can get pretty small, I've even done this with seed beads, it should slide on. So those are 3 ways you can attach beads, and a couple of options on the kind of eyes that you can do. I'm going to do the bands this time. So single black wrap, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another one, 1, 2, 3, 4. You might only want 2 wraps or 3 wraps, but this is how I'm going to do it. Doubled over single skin tone, slide it on. If you're doing beads, it's also going to be, it would also go onto a doubled over skin tone. We're stretching this across from the same peg that has the nose bands on it. So that's the 4th one down to the 4th one down. Whatever kind of eyes you're using, regardless, you're going to get your hook between the 2 eyes, find the line that separates your band, and bring that over your 3rd peg, 4th peg down in the middle. So these are going to be like pretty bulbous eyes, but I'm going with it. Let's do our extension for the face, and then we can loop up and I'll show you how to add on the ears. So we're getting pretty close now. For our side extension, we're taking a single skin tone, wrap it once and twice, and then we have 2 skin tone bands, two sets of double skin tone bands. So here are 2 bands, and then another 2, and we are going to be doing what we did with the side. We're just placing it in different ones. And for the helmet, we've got, or the hard hat, we've got 2 yellow and another 2 yellow. This is going to extend between the top side and the 5th one down in the side. And you'll have 3 pegs to bring your chain pieces over. I'll make another of these for the other side really quickly. Single skin tone wrapped twice, hold on to 2 skin tone bands, another skin tone band, and 2 sets of yellow. I'm having some distractions in the background that I was hoping I wouldn't have. I'm getting a little frustrated by them. Here we go. Side first, side fifth. Grab a piece out of each chain, bring it over. Once more, this is so that you don't have a whole separate chain hanging loose at the side of the face. This will cinch it in really nicely. Just gonna triple check my pattern here. And yeah, we are ready to loop this up, and we'll get the ears on and be good to go. So one more time, this is what we are looking at. We're gonna go to the bottom. I'm gonna start on the sides. And we're gonna be looping up the bottommost 2 bands on each of the sets of pegs. And every time you point the open part of your hook up and away from you, push back your top bands, grab up your bottom 2, bring them around, and set them down on the peg above. Many of you are probably pros and have done this a bunch of times, but everybody starts somewhere sometime, and maybe for one of you this is the first rainbow loom you've done, or the second, or the 10th, and trying to address everybody. So we are just going to keep looping up now. Same thing. Watch out for the triangle bands. You'll have a little bit of tension there. If you feel like your loom is getting tight, you could start to release some of the bands on this row that have already been looped in. I'm going to leave it just for now because it's keeping a tension I'm happy with. We'll loop up on the other side, bottom 2 bands only each time. Go right up to the arms again. Make sure you're getting them all. If you miss one, things can unravel fast, and then you'll be working to catch it and patch it. So go as fast or as slow as as slowly as you need to, as fast as you want to, but keep an eye out for anything along the way that looks wonky. I'm going to come into the center by looping in the bottom 2 blue bands on either side. And the reason I do this is because whichever way this ends up facing, I want to end with my shirt color in the middle and not the overall showing. For the middle, we grab the 2 bands that are sitting there under the bottom peg and bring them onto the peg above. There shouldn't be anything in their way. Loop up the next one. And what I like to do for the belt, if you're really struggling, just loop straight. If you think you've got it in you, put your hook through that belt buckle piece. I've turned this upside down now. Scoop up the 2 that you're going to be looping. So this is the bottom of the loom here, and we're lifting it upwards. Slide it through the belt buckle piece, and then replace it on the peg above. It's slipping off. Okay. And then we're just going to continue looping from there. So this is facing back the correct way. I scooped it back through these. If you need to fiddle with it a little bit, use a separate hook, whatever, it's all good. I'm going right up until his chin, and then we are going to try and find the top 2 pink bands. It looks to me like my top 2 are coming from the left, so that's where I'm going to scoop them to, You can always adjust the angle of your loom. You can always do this and give them a tug to see where they're coming from. And sometimes that helps you sort of separate them out a little bit. And so 2 to the side, 2 to the side, and 2 up. What I did with the nose is I scooped it up, put this over, and then I put the nose back on there before I looped up again. Again, there are different strategies with the nose, and you can do it differently if you want, but I did loop up and then put the nose back. I'm going to do the sides. Yeah, I'm going to do the sides because I want to finish straight in the middle, and I feel like that'll be a little bit easier. So go down, get the bottom 2. We're doing what we did with the body. Push back your triangle holding bands. When you get to the top, you can go straight into the middle with the bottom 2 yellow. If you want to loosen up the body at this point, you can do that as well. We're going to loop up the other side. I haven't done Rainbow Loom in such a long time. I miss this. I miss this. Life has been busy. It's been a little hard. And I haven't got to do my arts and crafts, which is kind of crummy. So I was happy to have the opportunity today. Now what I'm going to do is go back to that 5th peg down in the middle, reach through the nose. Again, you might have a different way you want to try this. The reason that I'm doing it this way is because now the nose is trapped around here, so it's not going to slide over to the side of the face. I've had patterns where my nose ends up like right over here where the ears should be, and this will keep it centered by swooping in between the bands holding it. Get between the eyes and scoop the next 2 up, and we'll go straight to the top. 2 more times here. I guess that was 3 more times, 2 more times. When you're at the top, you can take 1 or 2 yellow bands, put it on your hand, take your hook, point it straight down, and when you've got all of the bands on that top peg, when it's gone through all the bands on the top peg, you're grabbing that holding band or 2 and pull it back through. Replace, pull over the top. You can put this on a hook, holding hook, or C-clip, and we're gonna remove this from the loom. I'm just holding on to it for now. I think it'll be safe for a minute. So we're using the back of our hook. We're starting top and moving downwards. If you've seen my earlier videos, I used to like to just rip this thing right off, but I don't know if I've got more patience now or just realize it's more of a struggle sometimes to try and bypass this method. I mean, not to mention the stretchiness, right? So just at a glance here as it's coming off, I gotta say I do prefer the small beads myself, the effect that they made. And maybe you even found a way to use the bands such that one band got wrapped and stretched out, like stretched across the face a little bit, but I can't quite see an easy way to do that. Okay, here we go. Almost. Have a lot of bands on some of these pegs on account of those extensions. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you can adjust your eyes. You can move the nose up a little bit on the back. You can also see, okay, this is interesting. You can also see, even before we add the eyes, this one came out a little bit rounder because those larger eyes kind of pushed it out. Or pushed it up. When you turn it to the back, you can put your hook under a couple of bands and slide that through and put it on a C-clip. If you're wondering which side is the back or the front, it's whichever one you like. Both sides should look relatively similar. If you decided you wanted this to be the back, you could kind of push the nose under and through. But I'm making my front side the side where the eyes and the nose are showing most clearly and easily. And very last thing here to do your ears. Single skin tone band, wrap it on your hook tight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it on a doubled over single skin tone band. And before I replace, you can do this on your hook. I'm going to put it on my hand for a minute. I'm going to go through there. You can see, I hope you can see on the side, there's one set of skin tone and there's another set below and one more at the neck. You want to go right in the middle. It's going to line up with the eyes. Go through those 4 bands. Take one side of the band that's holding the ear and slide it through those. I'm doing this slowly because I'm really trying to show it to you clearly. I don't feel like I'm doing so well with that, but I'm trying. So this is the side. And then I'm going to put the loose side onto the hook. And slide the far, well, either slide one end through the other end. I'll probably, yeah, we'll take the one that's further from the end of the hook and slide it over and over the end of the hook. And you can secure this on the back just with a C-clip or weave it into where the other C-clip is. I'm just gonna stick it under another band and then put that on the C-clip maybe. I think that should stretch. So there's one ear, and I'll do the same on the other side. I'll go a little bit faster here. Oh, it's the wrong color, that one shouldn't be in there. Single wrapped 3-4 times, put it onto a doubled over single, and I'm gonna go from through those middle 4 back to front. Put the other end on, bring it through all of those. Sorry, I'm going off camera just for a second. Just have to get a little bit closer here. And secure that on the back. For the moment, I'm just going to put a separate C-clip on so I can get right back to you here. Okay, if you want to make and add on some little tools, I'd love to know and see what you're doing with that. If you have any suggestions, ideas for mine. Okay, so this is with the 3 sets of bands instead of the 5. This one had 5 and like I say, I cheated. I shortened it after the fact. This one has small beads. They're a little bit larger than seed beads, and this one uses bands, which would be roughly the size of a 3mm if you were using a black bead. So there is your Bob the Builder. I'd love to see what you do with this and love to hear what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.